Number 3 of the PEL Week 1 is upon us. It was upon us, and well, let's get straight into it. If you guys are watching on YouTube, I hope you enjoy. I guess I should say. If you do, I don't even know what you do. Thumbs up, subscribe. I don't know. Is there anything else? Anyway, let's get into the game. Let's get into the game. Ping that notification bell. I don't even know what that is, but you know what? If Freeman says to do that, then you should do that. Is there a bell on YouTube? I don't know. I don't know how to YouTube, but nonetheless, plane is in the sky. Fair one at that. Straight across. Everyone can go where they want, and once again, we see NIP jump east. Huh? It's a little interesting that they're not afraid, of course, but I mean, it was a somewhat southern plane, I guess. It wasn't actually a little further south. I thought it was going to go over Quarry, but it went south. So it makes sense. They don't want to, again, they don't want to contest vehicles with red diamonds going in that direction. So it makes pretty good sense. Navi, they have, again, said, you know what, we ain't going to fight Team Liquid in Poop Stinky. We'll just go military. And, well, I mean, of course, having looked at VODs and stuff, everybody must know by now that there's a team going military. So TSM, G2, they can do the bridge Kangaroo, but I don't think they're actually going to do that. We'll see Wind Strike. We'll keep an eye out. We'll keep an eye out on Wind Strike. See what happens. It's actually kind of interesting that the 2 games that we've seen NIP go East Coast, they get the circles. Do you know stuff? The first game, they get the circle out here, and now they got it again. I mean, it would end up by yellow, but it's still in that area, right? It's a little easier to rotate to yellow houses from where they are than having to do it from George-Bowl, that's for sure. Vitality, they leave, they go centered up. Makes perfect sense. Once again, Knights, they prioritize. Ooh, Jazz, are you gonna get caught here? Okay, so Vitality split 2-2 in Liquid Compound and Heaven. And seems to me like a fight escalates because of it. And even, wow, okay, so Vitality gets completely fucked. They rotate early. They stop, they scout, they run down, they take Liquid Compound, and they take Heaven. But look who comes in from the south. Doesn't matter if they go from Yasnaya or if they go from Pochinki. They will say, boys, we like this compound. They actually go around the side too, Liquid. They go around the side, they scout it, they see half of the team is fighting up here. And, well, I mean, they run in on it, and Nasus is forced to leave. So, interesting fight. Vitality gets completely cocked because of it. Is Ratio Edge actually going to go over military again? Okay, so Ratio Edge goes over military. Please stop, Navi, just for the fun of it. Please stop and hold them off. You have to know that they're coming at this point. Do they do it? They actually stop and wait for them? Yes! And I'm not saying yes, but I mean, this has nothing to do with me, with like disliking Ratio Edge or, oh, I want Navi to win. It's just, I like to see good PUBG. And even more so, I like to see PUBG where teams have clearly done their homework. And this right here is Navi. If they stay, I hope they do. I hope they don't disprove the entire point I'm trying to make here. But if they stay, that is clearly them saying, well, Ratio Edge, you've done this 4 times now. I think we'll anticipate you to do it and get some free kills off of it. And they're just waiting, at least for now. I mean, they're just waiting for them to drive over the bridge. That's amazing if they do that. It just goes to show they do their homework. I like to see it. Also, maybe it goes to show that Ratio Edge should consider going somewhere else. Then they're waiting for them. One goes down. Fast Rail goes down. And now Wanted and Snark. They're all by themselves. Guys, you gotta... what do you say? Put variations to your rotations. Ooh, that rhymed too. Variations in your rotations. Fuck. You cannot just do the same thing over and over again. Teams will start to anticipate it. Liquid splitting 2-2. They were clearly got shifted away from. Do they take a boat from Novo? Ha! They do. Where the hell did they come in? That's gonna be the question, right? How do they make their way inside? Digital, they make their way on up towards Liquid. They want to scout further forward, of course. Navi trying to go in. They sent 4 guys to Alamo. Not optimal, but I mean, they're in. And they can make rotations further. Okay, so circle goes on land 1 circle prior to having to, I guess you can say. But it goes on land, and this is always interesting because you have such an open area. I mean, you even have half of liquids sitting in the open. This entire area here is very, very open. You have the, you have the liquid, or like the King Queen dip, Alamo and warehouse, but other than that, it's very open around here. You have the hilltop up here that's not taken so far, and then you have the forest, which for some reason is still not updated on the map. It's only been in there for 2 years now almost, so that makes sense, I guess. Rye runs into the puff cap. They want some eastern hard shifts. Red diamonds, they rotate over the top and back, actually. Smart rotation from them. They have the dip up there. Now, they have been spotted by Crop, which should allow for M19 to know that there's a bunch, like there are players down there too. But smart rotation nonetheless. Ooh, they rotate on vehicle into forest. Okay. New circle pups. Wow. Okay, so not only does it go away from water, it goes really far away from water. Knights sitting center. And this is what you see immediately, right? Look at everyone wanting to get in. And that's the issue. There are only so many entry points to a circle like this. So face, they of course know that liquid is down here. They probably don't know that they're sitting down here as well. But this is a hold off. Gaxie's position up here could be a hold off, but they're rotating as well. So that's not really going to be a threat because they want to get inside the circle too. This is a hold off. Up here you can't really get in. And this entire side with M19 being in heaven pretty much blocks off all this. So what you can rotate through is, if you have NIP not fighting, then this is pretty much, if you're coming from the south, honestly, and you know that Samti is here, and Ibiza, and you know that Navi is here, the only safe spot you can, there really isn't one, but you can rotate through. Like, the thing is, if you rotate in through here, then you're gonna be shot at by 3 teams. 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 as well, right? So you want to say, how can we rotate in and have the least confrontations? Face, I would assume that they go up something like this, because they see, like, they must hear or something NIP rotating as well, right? So they have this gap to rotate through, but it's not going to be easy at all. Yeah, they do. They go up exactly just like that. And everyone crams, like, at this point, the forest just becomes a city itself. Everybody just smashes into it, and it becomes chaos. Windstrike goes in, NIP goes in, Phase goes in. Digital goes to the edge of the city. They take the two-story house. Everyone's fighting each other. Complete bloodbath. No orchestration, just chaos on end. Snark and Wanted somehow still alive. They've just been chilling on the edge for so long. Navi, they're still alive. 4 guys up, but they have to push on through. Potentially. We'll see where the next circle goes. And we go to Mansion. Okay, so Mansion ending. NIP, they're sitting in the garage compound. Did Knights lose players? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So they got pushed down by TSM, and they lost 2. So Kramer and Drayden are still up. This is a horrible ending. But funny, of course, for the viewers. Look at how many teams are going, like players are going down all the time. Battlein tries to rotate in. Recurrent and Sadovnik tries to hold off the people trying to shoot at him. M19, they're still up on Heaven. They have to leave now, but then they're gonna get completely fucked over. It was a good ending. I don't know about that. M19, they get nice scouting, by the way. They see, I think they must have seen Kramer and Drayden leave. Wanderer runs back in, takes the car, goes down. Really smart rotation from M19 there. I love to see when that stuff happens. Really smart rotation. Also, if Reindeer, if you're still here, it's did it change a lot that we changed it to lower resolution map? Because this just looks really low resolution. Is there any way to change it back? Or would that change too much on the on the performance? Because this is a really low resolution map. Like, all the compounds become extremely blurry. Ends fighting up north. Windstrike trying to take some control. They move in. They have the edge they can sit in. I cannot draw up to you exactly where all the trees and the dips are in the forest, especially with not having a forest on the map. Doesn't really help it. But they do manage to sneak their way on in. NIP, they get full control mid. Digital Alliance. They're sitting up top in the 2-story. Circle is gonna... This is interesting, right? Because the circle is going dead center now. This is the final circle and there's still 16 alive. So everyone's just making their way forward. Team Liquid, 4 guys alive. They have to cross. That's gonna be difficult. Yep. They just get annihilated. Everyone's waiting for Liquid to leave the L house. Wow. 3 guys down immediately. Ibiza down as well. There's like 3 teams shooting at them. RIP. And in all of that, you have 6mo and Iroh just rotating super cautious in the forest, out on the backside. Like, they want to clear this entire thing before they have to move in, right? So they go out here while everyone is fighting inside the compound. They make their way around the side. And they play it super well off of it. I mean, they're fortunate there's no one out here because M19 used the time to push into the yellow house. But really smart rotation from... I think at this point, the only place you can get in is down here. I think this is just like a full wall up to here or something like that. So they have to go in this way. Because you cannot vault through here either. You have to go in this way. Uh-oh. Okay, so they get M19 and NIP gets down. No, wait. Digital and NIP gets down M19. And they run around and get him taken down. Okay, so interesting ending. Interesting ending. They got one guy knocked already. And all of a sudden it's a finish off. Makes sense. Yeah. Nakapapu. That is true. The Russians, they have yet to wake up. But of course, I mean, there's still plenty of games to be played. So nothing is over yet. Nothing is over yet. But I agree. They have to wake up. They have to wake up. They have not been playing to their full potential. But that was the first game of week number 1, of course. First game of day number 3 is what I was trying to say. We'll just do like this. And then we will do like that. And toss this one up. Ends 1. Ends played bad in week 1. Well, I mean, there's still... I mean, that's the thing, right? Oh, Crowd played bad. Oh, yeah. Ends wins. Crowd plays bad. Watch face. Yeah. I'm doing all of the above. I don't know the watch face reference was to the push before. But that's the thing, right? I mean, you can just go off of the contenders that we casted. That you can just have one day where one team just completely sends it, right? I mean, right now, first place is, I believe, at 120 something points. I think so. And off of that, I mean, there's been 20 games played so far, right? Day 1, game 1, TSM got 31 points. That's a fourth of the total lead after 20 games. So, I mean, 162 points. That's what it is. Okay, but still, it's a fifth then, approximately a fifth of it. Sure, everybody's not going to go out and get 20 kill games, but I'm just saying it's possible to get over 30 points in a game if you have a really, really good game, right? So, and we don't know. I mean, we saw Reciprocity get 5 out of 8 wins to then get completely surpassed the day after or the days after. Everyone can have their crazy days. So maybe, who knows, maybe the CIS teams will come back for week 2 and just be like full on stomp mode. We will we'll have to wait and see. Discord, what are you doing on my screen? Hello? Go away. Thank you. Why are you here? Let's see here. Game number 2 of day number 3. Circle goes north. And base? Huh. How far west was the plane? So they actually land down south instead and loot Novo. Could they have flown? Nah, probably not. They would have had to contest TSM for vehicles. And they stick down here. Yeah, I guess it makes sense actually. It's not the worst decision ever. M19, they go north. Crowd, they go up here. No big surprises there. NIP, they're in Georgia Pole. Red Diamond south. So the only change, I guess, really, is that is you have face up in this area. And we have no one prim as well. So not really the biggest, biggest change up of things. But this does, of course, mean that for teams rotating north have that much less, what do you say? That less to worry about when it comes down to it. Rotations, from the side would make sense. Bridges, of course, you want to get over early. Maybe even, I mean, for a team like Red Diamonds, just wait until really late, then go over the George Bridge. But of course, that you need to know that NIP is gone by then. Vitality making their rotation. Knights, they're going out north. Ents, they're up here already. Knights, they want to take the compound. Oh, actually, maybe they don't. They want to sit on the... There's like the dirt road. There's a path up here you can position yourself in. Face, they come over. Did they take boats? Okay, so they take boats to go over. Fortunately, as you can see, TSM, they leave just before. So that's pretty fortunate. Navi, rotating out late, makes perfect sense. Red Diamonds, they sit down here to scout. They spot that NIP has left, so they can now rotate. TSM, they go really far north around. They pretty much just play it the way the face normally would have done. And then the circles go back south. Interesting. We've had so many games go into this area, like this area up here. We've had so many games end up here. Now G2, they're split pretty thin, but they're all kind of making their way down towards the south, down towards the J and L compound. They want to get over, get some control, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them keeping a guy or two on the other side, just because they want to have the bridge controls. Shoot it, shift down south again. Yeah, true. So Knights, they spot. Okay, so they get. This is a nice play. Spot this one. Knights, they see one. They see that they don't necessarily see that they're split, but they get a knock onto crowd, and immediately they got 4 bikes, right? And that's when you're gonna send it. That's when you know that you have the chance to do something like that. And then they just run in and they get the 2 knocks. Perfect play from Knights. They lose a player, sure, but they get they lose Drayton, I think. But they get 2 kills in a compound off of it, so worth the risk. Sure, they don't know if they're going to be in or not for the next one, but really smart play from them. Commit to your knocks. That's a good play, especially if you know that it's a 2-2 split. M19 sitting really center now, but in a 1-1-2 split. Might want to get together somewhat. Maybe send Ehud over here instead with Constantine. Or just position yourself a bit differently, because it's a dangerous split to have one in the yellow house by himself. NIP and... Okay, so Sixmo comes in. NIP, they probably could have rotated around, but then Windstrike came as well. And it fucks over NIP completely. Yeah, Vard is by himself now. They tried to commit down towards the gas station, but nice 2-2 split from Digital. Keeps them off. Windstrike forces just send it dead center into the shack. Not really the best position to play from, but... Well, you know, desperate times. Liquid, they're kind of caught up on the north side. Where can they go? I'm not sure. Where do they have to play from? I guess the only thing they can really do from up here is try and send it in. Or maybe go down towards the shack on the other side of the road. But that's not really a good spot to sit 4 guys in either. Where can Liquid go from up there? Because when you get here, you can't really scout any further. So either they can go for this shack, or they can... I don't even know. Try and sit in the dip down here. There's like a dip up here as well, but they can't get to that because of vitality. And yeah, they're pretty fucked from that spot. Honestly, the only thing they can really go for is a shack or try and hug like one of the antennas. Like sit on, like make a car fort on one of the sides of the antennas. Circle goes south. Now they have to leave at some point. Red diamonds. Yeah, they just said, okay, so they go to the shack. Sam tries to go further, doesn't help. Ibiza now caught all by himself on the other side of the road. Red diamonds gets the compound down here. Push comes in from the south as well, if you go back a little. Navi. Down here. G2 next to them. They take them, and that's the thing, right? That's the issue with these, with this area. You need your vehicles because it's so open, but you cannot bring your vehicles because there are so many players alive in such a small area. So as soon as you get into them, you'll just get like pretty much instantly blown up. What? What? How did Sadovnik pull that one off? So Navi, they're driving up. Sadovnik goes, nope. Drives straight through Digital and gets down on the wall. That is, that's impressive. And yes, exactly what Funz is saying. It's so hard to push down here. I mean, from here to here, it's just open. Like this is completely open terrain. And they will just be able to completely wreck them. Like there's not a whole lot you can do. You can see they barely even can get to where the spot they are here. So not a whole lot more. Oh, he did. Oh, he dies. Aw. No, he died. That's so unfortunate. I thought it was gonna be like a complete hero play and he gets a center spot, but he dies. Oh, feels bad, man. I was just like, that's a pretty cool rotation to make, but clearly it didn't really pan out the way that he wanted it to. Feels bad. The idea was good though. It was a fun idea. TSM, they're kind of fucked up on the east side. Ratio Edge comes around the side to try and deal with them. Now they're running back down. Smart priority in like in the pressure. Wait, what? Oh, okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so circle 4 keeps in water, even though it could have shifted further, but that's the settings. Keeps in water, and then the next one keeps it in as well. I was just like, how the fuck can there be water in circle 5 when we went to that area? But that makes sense. So you have water in circle 5. Circle goes south. Vitality, they actually have a pretty good. I mean, they have the dip down here they can play from. Oh, yeah. I can't really draw it up exactly where it is, but somewhere around down there. They just have to hold them off. Jokers to try to push in on the side. Of course, Vitality in a good spot to contain them. Ratio Edge, they get fucked over on the top. Ow. I guess they have like 6 teams shooting at them, so that makes sense. Not a whole lot they can do. Mexi is trying to run down here on the south side and make sure that nobody's able to do anything from there. Only thing is he could get spotted out by G2, but he's like the one getting all the info on what's up here. Under the bridge. Over on the other side. Get full info on what's going on there. G2 pushes in. Ain't gonna happen. Nice stop from M19. Even though they lost a player, they still kept them from going in. Base. There's still 4 guys left on the edge. They've been playing this really widely and really smartly, actually, throughout all of this. Windstrike as well. I mean, they committed that center, and they might only have had a shack to play around, but the fact that they actually get to stay alive for so long is pretty impressive, too. I mean, Kramer and Reals, they just have to chill. If they're smart, they know that all of the fighting is happening over here right now, so they just have to wait. Yeah, they're splitting out well. It's a smart split by them. I like it. Now they can help contain M19. Constantine, only player remaining on their team. Rainstrike gets the circle again, but you don't really want the circle, kind of, when you're sitting where you are here. Face gets taken down. Knights could win this game. This would be the second game in this area that Knights win, if they get it. Push together, up towards Tixu. Circle is going to go dead center and towards all of them. Oh. Timmy stays behind to hold the angle, has to run up. And 1v1. Kramer, Timmy, Kramer, Timmy. Hey, Windstrike wins it. Good job. Because they were here from really early on. They came in on circle 2 and just sat that center. So good job taking home the win in game number 2. Whoops. Now I think we might be going over to Miramar. I can't really remember. No, one more Rankle game. Noch einmal a Rankle for us before we go Miramar. I think this must be the day where we got the military ending then, right? 24 points to win strike. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying. You can pull off those. You can pull off those points in such a few amount of games. Yeah, exactly. If you get 14 kills, and more of it. Samyak, hey buddy. Howdy ho to you as well. Game number 3 of day 3. Northern Circle face. They say, well, this ain't gonna help us if we want to go down here. So they just jump out immediately, force out Ratio Edge from Sarky. Not really that they wanted to go Sarky. Hey, Samyak, thanks for the sub. I have all notifications off, like the sound of them, just so you know. When we're doing these, the YouTube stuff. Wind strike takes cube, makes perfect sense. You have the river going through. You want to prioritize what side you go to. That's the big thing here, right? And as we can see, it's always like that. That's where the math becomes a thing. That. What am I trying to say here? It's just visually. Right now, there's a bigger chance that the circle goes north of the water, and therefore you'll see so many more teams go up here than sitting on the south side. Also, because for the teams that are looting close, I mean, at least they can sit 2 on each side, right? Same thing potentially over here. You can have 2 on each side, or 1 on each side. I mean, here you can have a 2-way split. Here you can have a 2-way split. There are a lot of 2-way splits you can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spots where you can split on either side of the water. And still they all commit to go on the other side. Like, look at the teams, how many teams commit to go north. They know, the thing about this circle is that if you don't commit and go there, like if you don't commit and the circle does go north, then it's gonna be, first of all, it's gonna be hard to push over because you're running into the open. Like, look at this. If you go over and there's a team here, you're in the open. If you go over, there's a team here, you're in the open. If you go over, cube is there, you're fucked. If you go over here, it's in the open. Whereas if you go down south, boom, immediately a compound. Boom, immediately Rosok. Nothing boom, but you have Everest. and you can go into containers here as well, right? So it's so much easier to rotate from north to south than it is to rotate from south up to north. Which is why I think in these, I mean, it's not even a 50-50. It's more of like a 60-40 with the water going through the middle. But I think in these circles, it's more of a, it's a better call to go north. Try and see if you can get a compound up there. Red Diamonds go on Everest. They want to see if they can scout themselves anything further forward. Trying to see if they can spot anyone inside of the city. Navi, they're going, whoops. Navi going all the way around. Knights going all the way around. Circle goes hard west. That's a big fat yikes. Look at this. First of all, it shifts from being a 40 whatever percentage to then, I mean, it's gonna be a 50-50, right? It's pretty much not completely, but somewhat 50-50 with the water going through the middle. So you don't know what side it's gonna go to. And now if you're north, because so many teams committed to go up there, honestly, if you want to go south, this is the way to do it. You don't want to cross over here. Not there. Not there. You have to go all the way back where you came from. One of these 3 bridges. Potentially not even this one, because you know that there could be teams sitting in Rosok. So you want to go over one of these 2 bridges and play it safe that way. Because everything fighting up here, it's just going to be, there's way too many teams north. And you can see they're all trying to make their way up and over to make the smart play to get potentially inside the city. Maybe stay even further out west to get into a good spot. But it's just going to fuck them all over. And they're all cramming themselves into the top now. Navi's coming up north as well. It's one of those, ooh, this is the 200 IQ play. We should be able to do that. But then when everyone tries to do it, it kind of fucks you over. Jokers committing south makes sense. TSM, they went back down south to take a position. Now it's gonna go north for sure. Red Diamonds just sent it in the water. Jokers on the boat. Actually, I can respect that. I can respect that. Take the boat around. Drayden might have hurt them, but I mean, still, they're 4 guys up and they're on the right side of the water. Smart decision. TSM, how are you gonna push this one? It's gonna be tricky. And now they have full control. Jokers from the top. They even get a bike as well, so that's pretty fortunate. Yeah, 10 teams up here. If that can do it. I mean, there are so many teams fighting up north, right? And now Dream for you is just chilling in the compound all by himself. Maybe he should go out in the shack instead. Or he can just chill. Because this position is most likely going to be pushed at some point. Navi, they're setting themselves up so they can fight down south while still be able to scout out over. But with them only being 2 alive, they might want to push a little further up. So they don't have to fight all the teams coming in. Because, I mean, all these teams will be coming in like this, right? Like from CSM, you can't really go over this way. You have to go up and over this way. Same thing here, same thing there, same thing there. So you don't want to sit in like the melting pot if you're Navi, especially if you're only 2 players alive. So maybe back out. You might not get that many kill points, but you could potentially up your placements off of it. And it seems like they are actually running up, so it makes sense. Smart play from them. They're pushing all the way down to the compound. Wind Strike, M19, they're fighting on the ridge line, trying to hold off each other. NIP come into third party. Smart play from them. Ratio Edge. They hold off Red Diamonds. This is insane for Navi. They get the circle right on. TSM, they've been sitting north for a while. They get to stay in as well up on the Wizard Tower. Ends on the west coast. They get shifted out from. They should be able to get something here. I was just gonna say only threat for them is gonna be TSM. Oh, TSM, Team Liquid, sorry, of course. On the top. Yeah. You know what I mean, Team Liquid. NIP fighting them off, not gonna happen though. Somehow, Ratio Edge wins that fight with 3 up. That's pretty impressive. Because it seems to me like they get the first knock and finish up onto Wanted. 4v3 now. Then again, that's the issue when we're doing all these analysis things off of the map stream. We can't really see exactly how the fights go down. Yeah, NIP, Jesus Christ, I cannot talk today. Team Liquid in a good spot. That's it's not something they've been getting a lot of in this first week, that's for sure. I mean, Samty has been getting a lot of circles when he was center by himself, and he beats out a few as well. But other than that, they never really are in a position to do proper fighting. Which, I mean, they would probably blame it on themselves maybe, but also, I mean, circles is just such a big factor. Ends push all the way around the side. Good spot from the north. I actually really like that. Look at this. Ends, they come in. They know that Team Liquid up here, right? Ends, they come in down here. And they know, well, as I said before, they have not been shot at any point from the compound, so that's not a threat. But they know that Liquid is up here, and that's going to be an issue for them. And now that these guys are fighting, Liquid have given up. And this might be, I don't know. They want a third party this. It makes perfect sense. They have the entire ridge line to run over and engage down there. But the fact, and they want to commit 4 guys to it, because it could be a heavy fight going either way, right? But the fact that they don't have one guy holding off, because they know that Ents is down here. They shot at them as they crossed over. They were shooting at them. You see, boom, shots fired. They know that they're over there. But now they full on commit. Like from just sending, right now, they send 2 guys up to contain whatever outcome of this fight. Like whatever survives this fight. Samty and James goes over to try and hold off. While Ibiza and Yemti will both have a chance to help them out. And also have a chance to hold off from behind. Ends still realizing this. They're continuously looking up in this direction. Now they get the kill. They go over to help them. And this allows for Ends to push over. Such a smart play. Rastanmar goes out. They see that it's open. He runs out here while looking in this direction, like all the time. And Squeak and Mikas can go around with the vehicle. Really, really smart play from Ends. Use your info to your advantage, and it allows them over. And while Team Liquid are busy fighting and Ratio Edge, they can come up over the top and get a good high ground position there. Really smart play from Mints. I don't know who wins this game, but just it's those small decisions that will get you the wins or the higher placements in the end. Because had they not done that, they would still have been like completely fucked and caught out there. So smart play by Ents. Again, Navi, they haven't really done anything. They've just been sitting in the circle. Good though that Setup Nick goes out to take some control. Death Circle. Rusty goes down. Liquid swarms. Not a whole lot more to it. As soon as they get the knock onto Rustenmar, because he was the flank, he was one in the offside position, it allows for Samty to just pull over the top. And you can just see how like they just spread out and take control. So really smart play. And Liquid, they did everything to deserve it. You can say, oh, they got such a good position up north. And sure, they got hard shifted a couple of times in that direction. But look at what they were in. I mean, they were sitting in plane crash. Then they rotate over when everyone else did as well. And complete and utter chaos up here, right? So they go 2-2 split, or 3-1 split, I guess you can say, with teams out here. They take control in the circle. He goes back down. Maybe there's a crate out there, I don't know. Going together up north, and look at the amount of teams that are coming in from up here. And they're fighting off all of them. So it's not like just them sitting and waiting for the circle. They were engaging in like 4 or 5 multiple, like individual fights. And they end up getting the win off of it too. Good freaking job, Liquid. That's what we've been missing for them too. One thing is wins, but another thing is to actually be able to pull off those sort of those matches. Great job. That was game 3 though. Let's jump into game number 4. And I cannot stress this enough, guys. Please do ask if you have any questions. We're going over to Miramar. I'll just respond to one message real quick. Good. This time around, it's Chris who's in the middle of the map for some reason. We don't know exactly why that happens, but it does. I like the variations we get in the circles on Miramar. That's actually kind of nice. Actually is kind of nice. No big surprises here. Everyone going, well, pretty much where they want to. 80 seems like he's looting a little by himself. Could be him either DCing or just, yeah, probably. He jumped out of the plane down here. So maybe DC'd and tried to come back. Hey, Fizz, thank you so much for the sub, man. I'm, yeah, as you might know, I don't have alerts on because this is being uploaded to YouTube. So everyone who follows, everyone who subscribes, all those things, we're, there's no audio for that because I don't want it to have like tons of audio on the YouTube video for those things. Liquid, helpful was the people who can pull one before a that was something. I guess that was speculated last turn. GMT is a vocal addition to the team. Oh, I mean, they're a good team. They're a really good team. It's just a matter of them finding their, and that's the thing, right? Because you can have a really good team that works really well within a certain lobby. For example, if you were in the GLL tournament with those other 15 teams, you could be stomping them, and then you could go into a new lobby where it just change out one team and it fucks up the entire balance of the server. Like just them dropping somewhere else or liking to do a rotation that is going over what you like to do. And that's what, like that's what makes playing competitive PUBG so difficult, because it's not always, I mean, you have to have a, how can you say this? Let's compare it with Counter-Strike, right? If you're a team in Counter-Strike, you go up against another team, you have to prepare for that team and how they play. And you will play against each other X amount of times throughout like the tournaments over the years. And sure, some players have changed and things change, but you always have the prep opportunity to go against them. And you do that for every single opponent that you're going up against. Here, it's not like, because if you go against Team A against Team B in Counter-Strike, you bring out your, this is what we do against Team A rulebook or guidebook, right? And then you play according to what you've been practicing coming into it. But here, change one team, like just swap any one of these teams out with any other team. And you cannot have an individual playbook for every single. I mean, sure, now these guys are playing a lot of games against each other, but you're over the tournaments, you're up against so many different lobbies. You're playing in so many different groups that by changing one team, it can really change up the dynamic of the entire server, of the entire, like how teams rotate, when teams rotate, how they engage, when they do things. All it takes is one team to do things differently. So for Liquid, they might not. I mean, they're pretty well in it right now. I think can't remember the exact scoreboard, but it could just be. I mean, it always takes not necessarily 1 week, but a little while for teams to really find their spot in a certain server. And then the thing is, once a team then tries something new, let's say we come into week 2 next week, and then this week, and then a team just says, you know what, we'll change up things. This week 1 clearly didn't work the way we wanted to. Let's do this instead. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, let's start looting here instead of here. The loot spot could be the same, but it could just be them rotating a little earlier than they did in week 1, rotating a different route, doing something differently. That could change up everything for other teams, because all of a sudden what you were used to seeing is now something you're not used to anymore. So even within the same lobby, you have to be adaptable. You cannot just get used to things. And I mean, there's so many different factors, so many different things that plays a role in how and who, like how you play and who ends up on top. So keep that in mind whenever you see a team change up. Like whenever you see a team going from playing really well to falling off, or the other way around, when you see a team that has been like came off to a really rough start, but then wow, all of a sudden they start winning games and getting into these top placements and get kills. Look back at what they did when they weren't doing well, and then what they do when they are doing well. And don't only look at that one team, but look at all the teams they're fighting. Because sometimes you can have a team, let's say ENCE, for example. If ENCE had a horrible week 1, I mean, we still know, we can go back and see other tournaments. They're good at shooting, they're smart in rotations, all those things. But if and this is all hypothetical, but if they had a crazy shit week 1, and then they just come back stomping the next week, you're like, how the hell did that happen? Did they just become good? It could be because jokers, they decided to, instead of rotating like this, we'll rotate like that. Those micro things can change the entire lobby for you. So as a team, to try and prepare yourself for what you're up against, and do it after every every single game, and adapt to what you're playing up, adapt to what you're up against. It's difficult, guys. It's really, really difficult, and it's impressive as fuck when you see people do well. Like, that's why I complimented Navi when they went military to hold off Raise Your Edge in the Erankle game, because it shows they have done the practice. They have figured, if we sit here, we wait for them, we're gonna get them, and they did. So really well played by them, and I like to see it. TSM, Vitality, Liquid, they're kind of sharing the area down here, and it makes sense. Everybody rotating in. Sides, whoops, sorry. To be expected. That seems really, what the? Oh, I think I know what it is. I'll write that to Rain. We cannot draw over here around the name list. Yeah. That is a bug that will be fixed. Circle goes north once more. Everyone's sitting down south. That's the issue, right? You want to sit center. Let's draw this as the approximate circle center. Then now when the circle goes north, boom. What do you do if you're Vitality? You're in between multiple teams. It's hard to rotate out, but you still want to go more center. Sure, you could just take your vehicles and crash it, but you have, like, you're in between in between a split, you have multiple other teams around you, and it just becomes difficult, right? So you always have to realize, where was the center before? How can we move accordingly? Let's see what they do. There are only 2 guys alive. They're just staying. Makes sense. NIP, wide 2-2 split. Now they're actually in between TSM as well. Rookie and Rory, they come over. Gustav goes back to pick up Michael. I like it. I like it. Teamwork, teamwork, teamwork. Whoops. I don't have a PEL command, Samir. Maybe I should get one. New circle pops. There you go. Dead center. And, well, I mean, again, open field. That's a yikes. Open sort of field hilly thing. That's a yikes. And everything up here is just like crazy hard to play from dips. So, Interesting circle. We have only lost 4 players at this point. And if you're FaZe, I mean, they've just been shooting at wind strikes. So they have to go all the way around the top. Come in from down here. Red Diamonds probably have to do the same thing. Because if you look at this edge of the circle, right? You have the mountain line and wind strike set here. So this is like a no... Oops. This is a no-go. Then you have water treatment. You can't push through that. So this entire part is a no-go. The road. No way in hell. You could go over on this side. I mean, they could go... Let's draw a line here, right? So FaZe from up here... We'll just draw it in green. FaZe from up here can decide, do we want to go around this way? Off of the info that they have, of course. This way? Or do we want to go back around and try to get in down here? Thing is, you cannot only think about this circle, and also they know that red diamonds are down here, so that's going to be a big no-no. They can't actually do that. If they go up here, they have X amount available, right? So if the next circle shifts south, how do we do it from up here? And if we go down here, if the next circle goes here, what do we do from down here? So they you always have to think X amount of circles ahead and think of the entry points. What info do they have and how can they get in? And yes, they do want the hills down by Cruz del Valle. That would be the only smart place to rotate. I'm just trying to say to those of you guys who are watching who might not be that what do you say, experienced in watching competitive PUBG, that there are so many. It's like playing chess. You have to constantly think, I want to say realistically 2 circles ahead of what you're doing right now. Sometimes you just have to say, you know what, we'll go with the flow, we'll hope that we can get some circles and we'll act like just do reaction plays all the time. But if you're able to, like most of the time, you want to think a couple of circles ahead, because believe me, by the time that FaZe got into this circle, there you go, they already have a plan for what do we do if it goes here? What do we do if it goes here? What do we do if it goes here? They already have thought of how they want to play and where they want to go and what their priority sort of spots will be. They'll take a high ground position and then start looking around different places and see what's open, and they will say priority 1, nope. Priority 2, nope. Priority 3, nope. Continuously do these things to figure out what's going to be the better play for them to make. The circle goes south, as we saw. Once again, huge field of death that you cannot really play from at all. Vehicles come crashing in, and that's what happens when you do it. Trying to repark, get into a better spot. Everybody fighting up in the north. FaZe goes down. Raise your edge up against Na'Vi. They do manage to get the res on up. New circle pops. Wait, are there 3 teams in that compound? Wait, so Liquid are down here. Crowd comes in from the east. M19 wants to third party, but it doesn't really become a third party because now it's just all being stalled. Magister comes in as well. Wanderer comes in as well. There's so many players in this compound. Holy cow. That's actually kind of interesting. Once again, circle goes in the open. Horrible spot to have an end game, but I guess Knights, they're kind of enjoying it with their position. So Liquid goes down. G2, they try to go up on the edge. If G2 can clear their entire backside from up here, they actually have a pretty good spot to sit at. Still 4 guys alive for G2. NIP, they have a good spot up top here as well. They can sit and look out from. Digital, they try to crash on in. Not working. Iroh still alive, though he's in the circle. And that's the thing right now. Everyone who was sitting up here, taking free shots down towards the people that are in the field, they now have to make the run down, because you cannot drive at this point. Run down into the field and take shots from the people that are in the field. So just big fat horrible with horrible on it. NIP gets completely caught up on the top. They have to run through the compound. Knights have to be ready for that, you would assume. Yep, one goes down there. Well, now they know that they're coming down that way. Circle, hard shift south. Yikes for NIP. They are in top 5 though, so, and 3 guys alive. They could get something going their way. 3v2, 1 goes down, Drayden's still up. Vard tries to make the run. Still alive, gets in, top 3 for NIP. Good job. TSM somehow got out of that one too. They're set in there, they waited. They didn't want to leave before G2 was completely down. Now they are, boom. Push across. And look at this. They don't make the push over. This is really smart play once again, TSM. They're doing this so well. Look at what's happening up top. As soon as they hear those shots, that's when they go. Because right now, what's keeping these guys from rotating, they know that G2 just died, right? Right now, what's keeping Wookie and Gustav from rotating is Knights. They can just start spraying at them if they go over here, right? But as soon as they start fighting up here, look at this. Boom, now they started fighting. That's when they go. Really smart playing from TSM. Squeaky, he's just playing it on the edge. He doesn't want to engage in anything. Has to run on in. Vard goes down. Boom, TSM wins again. Wookie and Gustav. Danish power. That's just how it is. Good job, guys. And I'm sorry I'm going through these games a little faster now than we were before. But I hope you enjoy it nonetheless. Last game of day 3. Is this the military game? Or like the island game? I think it might be. We'll see. I don't remember if it was day 3 or day 4. The island game. Yes. I'm getting told that it is. Yes, it is. Okay, so let's just ignore the fact that we know it's gonna go on military for now. No big surprises as far as loot goes. But already at this point, honestly, no matter where you are, if you want to get into the circle, Los Leones is blocking off this entry point. So that's a no-no. And Minas is blocking off, I would say, this entry point. So that's a no-no. So everything from here, or I guess you can say that El Sahar is actually blocking off this as well. So El Sahar blocks off this. So this, all the green, and of course you cannot rotate in here either. All the green is accessible terrain, I guess you can say. The green areas is where you can rotate in with like maintaining high speed and keeping your vehicles, most likely not run into anyone else. If you can make a mental picture like this every time you have to make a rotation, that's gonna help you out so much. Like if you know here, 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 here is gonna be where we can rotate. If you're not, of course, already in the circle on the edge. I mean, of course, if you're Vitality, you can rotate in through this. If you're G2, you can just go straight down. But if you're coming in from further out, these are like the 4 entry points to the circle. We can keep it like this and see if teams, they move according to our drawing. Again, not Vitality or G2, of course, but all the other teams. Vitality goes in. They go straight in. Liquid go through. FaZe go through green. Through green. Through green. TSM through green. Liquid through green. FaZe through green. Windstrike through green. Oh, Drayden. I guess it's because it's so late, right? Through green. And do they go through the city? Huh. I guess the Mighty. I keep saying this, sorry. Digital, they go through the city as well. Because it's so late, so they can actually do it. Look at this. I like what Copper Magic is doing. I think Copper Magic is anticipating that something could happen here. Uber is already in a boat too. Uber has taken a boat down here. He's ready for it. This circle shift is such a joke. Oh, it's such a joke. And look at this all of a sudden. I mean, FaZe, they're already down there. This just becomes chaos, right? G2, they're sailing over. FaZe, they're sailing over. Raise your edge. That's such a smart play for them. We haven't really seen them do a lot of smart things, and no BM or anything. It's just, I mean, this is a play that not a lot of teams would set up. So really smart by them to prepare it and go over. Braxco and Uder just start swimming across, because why not? It's like, we gotta make it. We have to make it. Red Diamonds, they're screwed. Digital, they try to go for boats, but that's not happening. Navi, they're coming in far out. Trying to get in on land anywhere. Down they all go. And this is what we talked about before, how like this is just one of those spots where you just gotta fight it. You just gotta, if you're on land still, you just gotta see if you can get a lot of kills before you get fucked. And if you're in the water, Tix is swimming. I saw the most of this game. It was so fucking hilarious. It was really funny. Knights. They're jumping in the water. Probably won't make it. G2, they're just sitting down here. Yep, you guys, you are not going over. Raise your edge. They got aground. They got safely up. Tixu is now running there and in. This is spot Copper Magic. Maybe. NIP, they have the north. The circle goes up towards them. 3 teams fighting on the south. G2 spreads out to take full control. And the issue here is, because I remember they were shooting and they had like 3 ammo left in the fight in the end. When you get over here, you don't have a chance to loot anyone, so you don't really get any more ammo. Like, none of the people that are fighting, only on the south side. Everybody that is here, all they've been doing is shooting at people and holding them away. And when they've gotten kills, they haven't really been able to loot anyone. So the circle goes up over, G2 gets it. Raise your edge gets completely, like, engaged upon from either side. And all of a sudden, Galaxy and Vard 2v3 gets down Braxco quickly. This is the first time they really get a chance to loot anyone, because now the circle isn't on their heel anymore. And then this just became a really, really stalled fight that Galaxy won in the end. It was so hilarious. Really, really funny. But it was an interesting fight. Interesting fight in the end. And I mean, a lot of really smart rotations coming in off of it too. It's something that we haven't really... I mean, this... let alone this push from Raise Your Edge to go all the way up here, anticipating it. Because they could always just go back up if they didn't. Like, if it didn't shift there. But the fact they actually go down here for the boat and prepare themselves for it, like making their way down here, is a really, really smart play by them. And everyone else, of course, just... It's limited how much you can analyze off of this, I guess is what you could say. It's somewhat limited, but they make it work and they did it extremely well. Was this actually game 5? Oh no, it was game 5. I forgot to change the number here. But you know, you guys all know what game it was. The Crazy Island game that would end day 3. And I think that's also gonna end my